Because I was going to say it'd be funny if we just opened up, first thing we said, fuck Christmas. Glad that missed it.
You think it missed it?
I don't know, it might have.
Maybe didn't though.
Maybe didn't. The
Just
beep,
record it.
the beep happened like right after I said it.
Maybe, but little peek behind the curtain. Only you and I can hear the beep. They don't hear the beep in the recording.
Oh,
but the beep
okay.
in the recording means that it also records the first like 10 seconds before the beep.
Oh, wow.
So you might have said something very rude about Christmas.
Probably did.
Guess we'll have to wait and see.
Is this? I hope this isn't our intro.
It's the best intro I've got.
All right.
Merry Christmas, Higgins. Happy holidays to all, and to all a good podcast night. Hi, my name is Snoop Lynch, and welcome to Comrades, Cocktails, and Comics. It's another holiday episode here in the new studio with me and, of course, my co-host, Higgins Sturm.
Hey, that's me.
That's you right
We
there.
made it.
Mm-hmm. We made it. New studio, new setup.
studio.
It's coming together, you know?
3 Christmases in.
Is this our third Christmas episode?
I think so.
Gosh, time flies when you're podcasting.
Maybe only our second one.
Well, it felt like my fourth, Higgins, and I mean that.
I don't know. We might have done something like Christmas in July one time. I can't remember.
It's all a blur. That kind of happens in this book we're going to talk about, because that's what we do here, isn't it, Higgins?
We talk about a book.
Mm-hmm. What else do we do?
We drink a drink.
Mm-hmm. What drink we be drinking?
Oh, man. We're going to have 2 for you tonight, folks. This one is called the Merry Christmas Cocktail, I think.
That's what you sent me a link to.
Yeah. So I kind of forgot. It's pretty good. It's a little cranberry gin doodad. You got some cranberry juice, some gin, some
cranberries,
some lemon juice, some cranberries for a garnish.
Yeah.
Not necessary.
But if you are going to get some, you get them organic, right? Because that's what you did.
Yeah, but we spare no expense. They were the only ones I could find. I looked all over that Kroger.
Yeah, but you would have gotten those in the end because you know only the best for us.
Oh, yeah.
Drink-wise. This drink's not bad. This is the second one you've made.
Oh, there's club soda. The second one's better than the first.
Yeah, because I think the club soda was a little more club soda-y in the second pass through. The first one kind of tasted like cough medicine, but cranberry.
The first one got a little shaken, and the bubbles did not agree with the shaker, so this time I didn't use that.
This time you went for a stir.
Well, I kind of just poured it in there and hoped it did its best.
Well, I'm pretty happy with the results of the second one, for sure. Like I said, the carbonation in the second drink definitely brings it a long way. I could see it not being everyone's favorite. I probably will have this one and then never have this drink again, but I'm not upset about what I'm drinking.
Yeah, I might make it again.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a big club soda guy, so when will I have that in my house? Who knows?
You've left some in my house for me. Thank you. Just drink that by itself. Why not?
Yeah, bubble water for the people that are too good to drink the flat water.
I would never, Higgins. My cat wouldn't even drink tap water. He's right here in the center of us, holding down the fort. Thank you, Gary.
He's doing a good job.
Can you turn on the heating blanket for him?
Yeah. Is it just that
It
button?
should be plugged in. There's a button right there. You just hit it once or twice. Hit it twice so he gets that medium heat, you know? Yeah, you want the white one. Should say like medium on it. Good. Don't put it on hot. He's got sensitive skin. All right. I thank you and he thanks you. We're all about giving here at Comrades, Cocktails, and Comics, aren't we, Higgins?
Yeah, just like our boy Santa Claus.
That's right. He is our boy because we've already seen him go down a journey once or twice many Christmas ago. And so we thought, why not check in on the guy, see how he's doing?
Yeah, so, man, did we do something else for Christmas one year?
It's all a blur, Higgins.
I know. But we did read the first one, and then we were like, man, we'd like to catch up with Grant Morrison, put on our leather jackets, and see what our hack and slashing Santa Claus is up to.
That's right. And it's a little warmer this year around, so I'm going to cut the sleeves off my leather jacket and make it to a leather vest.
Leather vest. Now I'm in a biker gang.
Higgins, that's not just a funny joke. That's topical about the book we're reading. Because, see, this book, the first book we read with Santa Claus, Sexy Santa Claus, how Santa Claus started being Santa.
How he Santaed.
How he Santaed so hard and in leather. We read that. We did an episode on it. It was great. You can go back and listen to it right now if you want, Higgins. Don't. So we could talk about this new book which is actually a collection of short stories.
What if it's like that thing I saw on the internet where every time they say the word B in B movie, you start the movie B movie over again?
But only like that first time you hear,
Just
right?
the first time, because otherwise it'd be an infinite loop.
Yeah, you would just get stuck on that same
Yeah.
word. Yeah. So how long, if you do that, how long does it take you to finish B movie?
Like days.
Oh my God, I can't wait.
But yeah, like that. You could do that if you wanted. Every time we say Klaus, you can start listening to the other episode.
I like that. I like that. We'll do that later.
Just think of all the listens that we get.
Oh, we need those, don't we? We need listens on this episode too. Oh, this episode, of course, forgot to do this. I'm a little new to the situation, but this episode, as well as the last episode and future episodes,
Oh yeah,
are
it's
brought to us by.
008 Studios.
That's right, Higgins. That's the studio that sponsors us.
Is he a doc? He's a .com, right?
If are you going to ask, is he a doctor?
I was gonna be like, surely he's not a .gov, but I mean, he could be.
Well, Higgins,
He could be a .gov.
before we answer that question, I'm going to have you answer these questions, and maybe it'll help you answer that question.
All right.
Okay. Higgins, are you an aspiring author?
I am not.
Okay. Are you maybe a games video developer or part of a team that develops games video?
I guess I could be,
But you're not right now.
but I'm not right now.
Okay, cool. Moving on. It's fine. Lastly, are you a starving artist and you're just begging, you want to make some content so bad, but you don't know how?
I guess I'm kind of a starving artist
Yeah.
in my own way.
You look pretty hungry when you came in here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Plus you had that painting you just did outside.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it sounds like that you're a little lost in your artistic endeavors, but luckily there's a certain studio that can maybe help with that.
Oh, we just said that.
Yeah.
We just said that studio.
008 Studios, yes. As you know, you were there. We had our friend Michael. That's his business, his studio. And they do a little bit of everything I just said. You want to write a book? You wrote the book? That's good.
You wrote the book. We can put it in. We can put it on the paper for you.
Well, we can't.
We can't, but he can.
Exactly. So they handle things like publishing, video games development, as I said. And also recently, maybe get into the comic visual novel world.
Oh wow.
Yeah, hopefully he likes this little ad we're doing. I'm just kind of making a lot of stuff up.
Yeah. Well,
But there's stuff I can't make up about 008 Studios Higgins. And one of those things is the title of the first book being released under that banner and when it's going to come out.
oh, we know the title.
Mm-hmm.
That's exciting. I don't even know what it is.
I got it written down here.
Oh man, tell me.
All right, I'll tell you.
But
you.
tell them too.
No, I'm just going to tell you.
Okay.
Just on air. It's fine. All right. So the first book is called The Eternal Crown, Dawning of the Red Sun.
Well, it's got the subtitle too, huh?
Yeah,
There's a colon there.
exactly. Higgins, you better believe there's a colon
That
there.
sounds like a fantasy novel.
It's not just a fantasy novel, Higgins. It's hopefully to be an ongoing fantasy series because this is the first book. And you can get that first book as of this recording right now. It might change. If it does, we'll let you know. January 31st next year, 2022. You can get a digital copy. He's writing that down.
I was just going there right now.
Good. Well, you're going to have to wait.
Oh,
Yeah, because again, January 31st.
I just got so excited before I went before I heard the date.
It's all good, man. It's all good. I'll send you a link. That way you can just check it every day.
All right.
But again, January 31st, that is the current release date that we're sticking to. If it has to change, as these things might have to do,
Then we revolt.
we throw him and this podcast into the river. And we start over. But no.
I guess we can give him some time.
Yeah, cut him a little slack. He was very nice to us.
We are in the middle of a panorama still, I guess.
Yeah. That parallelogram is not getting any better. Have you heard about that new obtuse variant?
Yeah.
Oh God, can't wait. But yeah, that's the first book. And if you're rather like Higgins, I know you love a physical copy. You love to hold something in both your hands.
Oh, I do.
Yeah.
I have been reading books that are in person here lately.
Yeah, I don't get it, but luckily Michael thought of you.
Oh wow.
You weird freak.
It's just the smell of the paper.
That's why it takes me so long to read an actual book. I just smell most of it.
It's something that glares at me from my bookcase, so I actually pick it up instead of just something that sits in an app on my phone.
That's true. It can easily guilt you into reading it. That's good, yeah. Well, you can get your hand on that sometime around the end of February. That's a loose date. We'll give you more updates once we have more updates on that. But look forward to all that. And he's got some other things in the works. I don't want to get too deep into it,
That seems like the big one for now. We can maybe touch on the touch on it on the cleanup at the end.
And I've already kind of put the feelers out, see if Michael's interested on maybe doing like a separate interview style kind of podcast that we could put on this feed about the first book coming out.
Oh wow!
Yeah, that means we'll have to read it.
That's fine. He said it was small.
That's very good. That's a good thing to point out, because I've, as well as many other people probably, are scared of big books.
I think I heard somewhere in the way of like 200 to 300 pages.
That's a perfect amount,
which is very reasonable for a novel.
Exactly, and then we get to see that expand in future entries.
Oh yeah, I would love a 700-page one that we have to finish in a month.
My God, and then eventually we'll just have to cancel him because he keeps going on Twitter and changing lore.
We'll be on the up and up of the lore. No one will know this book better than us, not even Michael.
Exactly. We're the experts here. And we'll tell you more about all that later once we have more information. But we have current information now about a different book, the book we were talking about.
Claus, The New Adventures of Santa Claus.
That's what it is, Higgins. It's two books, if you can believe it, that were put into one book. Somehow they did it.
Yeah, and the first one is The Witch of the Winter. Some might say the better of the two.
Oh, see, I was actually thinking the opposite. I thought the second one was you want to go through them maybe like story by story. And
yeah, I say we just start and just talk about The Witch of the Winter right now.
Okay. Before we get into that, I was going to kind of go over, because we went over the inspiration of the creation of this character and his origin story when we did that episode.
Oh yeah.
So I wanted to see what else I could find, kind of like, why are we getting these books still? Because that first book, How Santa Claus Began, it works so well as just a one-off. But obviously Grant Morrison and Dan Mora, they're both back, and they've kind of done some more things in between this clause and the next clause. I read that.
Plus, I heard the first one made a pretty big boom.
That's good.
That's a good joke. Do you think they remember this is a Boom comic?
Well, I think you'll have to tell them right now. Who does this book, Higgins?
Oh, the Boom Studios.
You know
I don't do it like you.
No, that's fine. I'll let you
That's
have
all
this
right.
one. It's Christmas. I'll let you have
Christmas.
that one. But Higgins, as you know, Boom Studios.
Wow. They're gonna hate that.
No,
I'll knock it down.
yeah. I'll just bring it down a smidge. But anyway, that studio, they did this book again.
It's probably like one of their biggest like book series that they got at that place.
Especially around the time.
Yeah.
You get a big writer like Grant Morrison. He did, like, in between this clause and the last clause, he did Happy, which I didn't know that he wrote that. That was that show on, I think, Sci-Fi that had Christopher Maloney, and he sees like a weird blue unicorn or
Stuffed
something.
unicorn, yeah.
So he did that. He wrote that.
Oh, wow.
And he also started writing Wonder Woman Earth 1, which I've read some of the Earth 1 books, and they're fine by all accounts, but apparently this one's pretty good.
I love Fine by all accounts.
Yeah, and Dan Mora, he went on to, I think he still does these every now and again. He draws for the Power Rangers comic that
That's exciting.
Yeah, that they do. So all in all,
Our
good
buddy
stuff.
Our buddy Dylan would probably love that.
I think he's read some of them. I know he has that one action figure that's the Green Ranger and the White Ranger, but evil or something. They're
That's
fused.
exciting.
It is very exciting. And these stories were also pretty exciting. They originally came out, The Witch of Winter came out in 2016 of December.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
And then they did the other one the next year.
In 2017.
They've just been releasing one-offs every year since the release of the first one, right?
More or less. I don't think they did one last year because of the parallelogram.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. We can forgive him for that.
Yeah,
we
it's-
haven't even caught up yet.
Oh God, we're so far behind, aren't we? At least we're gonna get this episode out on time.
We're knocking out two birds with one stone too, so we're gaining on them.
I love it. But yeah, Grant Morrison wanted to come back to this character and treat him as kind of like Doctor Who.
A little bit of a superhero.
Well, so the first book is all superhero. It's all like basically what if Santa was Batman or Superman, and this is his origin story. And there's still elements of that character and those kinds of stories in these new two. But as far as the premise and the setup for it, he wanted it to be more Doctor Who, where this guy is immortal after the last story, so he can be at any point in any time that he wants. And you get to, that's why he's doing these one-off stories each year where they just, hey, what is he doing around this time? And I really enjoy the premise of that. I enjoy kind of what you can do with that. I don't think that it's, at least in this first collection, I don't think it's realized to its full potential. And I don't think they have as much fun with it as they do in the original story.
Oh yeah, I can agree with that. I thought for sure the origin story was a little better than this one, but they did have fun. I did read like the first 3 pages of this first one and thought I was reading the wrong one because it just jumps into it just jumps in and like he was like, "Oh god, I've been captured by the Moonshins for forever." And I was like, I never saw him with the Moonshins. I hope I didn't miss anything cool. That sounds great. He had Luna Aluminum all chains on him, man.
Yeah.
And you're like,
from the moon,
Yeah.
It was like made of moon's ice or something.
Yeah, something like that. And you're like, I guess that's just something that we're supposed to assume happened.
I think it's a mix of, and they do it in these first 2, because this one, this Witch of Winter story is set in the modern day, which I guess is now 2016, because that's when the story came out. But it was set in the modern day. And then when we go into the second story, it's actually goes back to the 80s. So
I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, and I think that's good and not good. I think that it's fun to just come in on this guy, and we already know how crazy things can get because of the first story we read. Yeah. So when you just get told ridiculous stuff like this, it's just part of the world building. It does give you that sense of, I'd like to see him fight a bunch of moon people, and like, how did he get imprisoned? He's Santa, and he's a badass.
And now they have another way to sell me a book, because I will 100% do Santa's moon journeys stories.
Yeah.
And I hope they already wrote it. I haven't even looked.
I think they will get to that. If there's another collection of these already out by this time that we'll do next year.
2 or 3.
So I think that they're maybe leading up to a big story with the moon stuff, because it's not just mentioned in the Witch of Winter. It's also mentioned loosely in the second story that there's a civil war on the moon, and like all these different Christmas entities are fighting it. So I would love to go to that.
Oh, speaking of lore, is this the story where there's all of the different Santas in like a hall of Santas?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's always been the best part of Grant Morrison's take on Santa, is the fun stuff he kind of gets to twist and do with stuff we already know.
He's like, here's how it makes a little bit of sense that one guy, air quotes, like goes around and does the presents and stuff
in one like night. That. Yeah. And I like kind of the explanation of that, and it's pretty early on that they mention it, where Santa shows up and this guy's like, "Oh, like, you're real, but how do you do the things you do? Like, how do you get presents delivered in one day?" And he's like,
I can't do that.
That's silly. There's too many of you.
It's like, you know how the parents give the presents to him? That's because of me.
Yeah. I like that he's kind of like, it is too much for him, because as we know, his background was he started as just a man, and while he's immortal and can, fight demons and has a wolf-drawn sleigh, he's still like, there's limitations to this guy. And so he creates a bunch of fake Santas that help him deliver these presents, and then he uses the inspiration that Santa gives to parents to encourage them to also give to their children. So bases are covered. I'm sure there's like one kid who still gets cold or whatever, but maybe that'll be a different story.
He was probably pretty naughty, though.
He was very naughty.
He probably sucked.
He probably put Santa on the moon.
He probably put sand on someone's like pudding cup at recess, and like, honestly, that kid doesn't deserve shit.
Were you the kid who got sand put on your pudding cup?
Nah, not me, but like, man, wouldn't that just make you upset?
I would be very pissed. But yeah, I like those kind of elements of again, we're gonna take something that everybody kind of knows about Santa, and use this, like the multiple Santas thing. That's fun. It's got like Father Christmas in there. There's a Russian Santa, like all these things that someone's drawn art of or made a story about already. He's bringing in to help build his world and his Santa.
And the best Santa of all, Geppetto from Pinocchio.
Yes,
it's like how I get it. Like he makes wooden stuff that comes to life, and that's Santa's whole jam in the first book.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know how old Grant Morrison got to that point. I don't know what went in his brain, and he was like, moving wood, Geppetto.
Yeah. I think that's always been Grant Morrison's strength, and maybe also to his detriment a little bit is
that's a bit much and stuff.
He lets his imagination run wild 100% of the time, and I think it works a majority for both these stories. The issues that it brings in, though, are character development to a point, and more so pacing. I think the pacing in both these stories is where it really falls down. I don't think this book is bad. I will go ahead and get that out of the way. I still had a lot of fun reading this and going back to Santa, and I can't wait to go back to him again in another episode. But having just two little short adventures told the same kind of tone and with the same style that Grant Morrison did in the original story, there's not enough time, I think.
That's pretty true. Like his first story was 6 issues, and these get like
they're one each.
Like they're one each, but like there may be like 2 or 3. Like the first one's maybe 2, and the second one's maybe 3.
Yeah, it's like a I forget what it's like a premium comic or whatever they call it, where
like
it gets about like 40 to 60. Yeah. So that does help it to an extent, but like I said, I think that he wanted to do as much as he did in that first run in less pages, and stuff falls down. Like there's stuff in this that you can take out of both stories. Talking about The Witch of Winter, the reason I think this one was my least favorite is because there's so many characters to juggle with and not really any characters at the same time. Like it's mostly Santa, and then you get the stuff about Geppetto, which I enjoy that take that Geppetto was his apprentice, and that's why he became Geppetto, the puppet guy. And they
made Pinocchio.
Yeah, they get Pinocchio a little look in, and I like kind of just the weird darkness that surrounds this character now, because the only part that's human of him at this point is his head and his heart. The rest is all magic wood that he's turned himself into.
But yeah, I don't know if you've seen Pinocchio, but it's already pretty messed up anyways. Kids get turned into donkeys and stuff like that. It's real messed up.
Yeah.
And then somehow a kid made out of wood turned into a real boy. Like, I don't know who thought that was a good idea. We can't just be making boys out there.
You gotta like fill some papers out or something first,
exactly.
At least. Yeah.
Ask some consent or something.
That's fair. That's fair. But I find that enjoyable to kind of bring an element, like a fairy tale element of that into this, because the first Santa Claus story we read was very fairy tale, and now you are in the modern day, so it kind of loses a bit of that magic, and so you have a character come in like this that we know of, but here's his deal in this world. I think that stuff is fun. I don't care anything about the 2 children that get kidnapped. They're just kind of a plot device.
They're just a way for us to get to the spot, and then also teach us the meaning of Christmas at the end.
And I think that I'm not saying he couldn't have done a good job with it. There's just not enough time spent with those 2 characters. Like, they're maybe in like a handful of panels.
They're there to pull the Chronicles of Narnia like story where one of the kids breaks bad a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but then, like, you know, her younger brother, Santa, they helped the girl come back.
They ever get those Turkish delights?
No, but this one guy's sucking on a spoon a lot.
That is gross. I don't like that. I don't like the weird elves. Because, have we even mentioned, this first story is about the Witch of Winter kidnaps some kids because she wants Santa to be her slave to make
giant wooden soldiers because Geppetto can't live anymore.
Yeah, he can't live forever.
He's at the edge of his life.
So the Witch of Winter goes, okay, that's fine. I'll just go get the master because he lives forever. The Witch of Winter's not really, like, she's in this, but I don't think she says anything until the very end after he basically changes her to Mother Nature.
She gets everybody else to do her stuff for her, but yeah, it turns out she, like, with good cause, she was mad because global warming. She was, her ice was melting.
Yeah.
And that was the only reason she's awake in the first place, is because her ice melted too much and she woke up out of her deep sleep.
I noticed both this one and the next story that we'll talk about go a little harder on political issues and such than the first story, which I don't think did that at all. And I think that one of them is more interesting. The global warming thing is just, like I said, there's not enough time spent on it to really kind of make it hit home. We're supposed to, at the end, feel bad for the Witch of Winter because she used to have X amount of land and then it all melted away. But there's just nothing to this character. I find the little elf that helps her, the spoon licker guy, I think it's his name is Spoon Licker, actually.
He's scarier than she is.
And he talks. Like like I said, she says maybe like a few words at the end, but it's just after she's turned good, I guess, and we don't really know what happens to her after. I think it would have worked better if you had kind of nixed that whole element of her and just made it about the spoon licker guy, because his backstory is he was an elf at Santa's workshop who felt like he was mistreated and also abandoned. I think that if you had that main character and maybe like a few other bad elves and they lure Santa back to this workshop, I think that you can do something interesting enough with that and not have to have the Witch of Winter stuff.
Oh yeah.
But that was just that's my personal take on that story.
They just need some like a villain that you could feel sorry for at the end, and Spoonlicker's just the villain.
Yeah. And I think that would have been like, again, I think if you take her out and focus on that element of that just kind of gets a mention of, hey, you left us and it sucked for like 30 years. Of course, he was trapped on the moon, so that's probably why he left.
Yeah, he was stuck on the moon. He just got back.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, guys.
But I think that you could have done, like you said, I think you could have had this character that you feel bad for, even though it's the villain, in that character. And you don't, like, there's no consequences really to what the Witch of Winter does because it's undone in a single night. Like, before she can even take this army. I like the kind of cleverness of that plan, I will say, because she can make ice monsters who can do whatever she wants, but the problem she's having is that they keep melting. So if they have a wooden exoskeleton, you get past that. So I think that stuff's kind of, that's fun and clever. I just don't think you need it for this. I think there's already so much going on with the setup of the story that all of it kind of loses its impact.
I think for the most part, he's just given himself a lot of tools to work with.
Yeah.
Because like I said in this one, you get to meet all of these Santas, and now we have like an endless supply of people to help him in future fights, which is one of these guys is in the second one, right? Father Christmas or something like that.
He gets mentioned, but there's a different character. I think the art in this is stellar as it was before.
Yeah, continues to be good.
I think there is a little bit of confusion with certain characters though, because the character you're talking about is, I think, Grandfather Frost.
Yeah, Grandfather Frost. But he looks a little bit like Father Christmas.
He does, and I think that's supposed to kind of go. Everyone thinks that these beings are all the same.
All the same guy because they look the same.
Yeah, so I think it works in that aspect, but it is a little confusing. But like I said, the art is it's incredible. There's a different colorist on the Witch of Winter. I don't know why. His name was Doug Campos, I think.
Doug Campos.
So just wanted to give him a little shout out. Credit where credit's due. Of course, shout outs to all the people that worked on this book. I don't have your names here. I'm sorry, but I know you're listening, and I appreciate you.
At least Grant Morrison and Dan Mora. So
they never stop listening. Yeah. So yeah, I think the art's just good call getting him back. I'm sure he was busy, but definitely worth waiting.
It would have been weird if they had done something different or something like that.
Yeah, and I think that they still work on the other issues that have since come out after this collection we're talking about. So hopefully that's the case, because I think they just work well for this particular story. But yeah, you wanted to go into the second story, which is, what is that called?
The Crisis in Xmasville.
That's right.
Xmasville is very important. We're not in Christmasville. It's not religion.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's another political thing that they're doing in this story is
the guy's like, I don't care about religion. I'm just trying to have some Santas and give out a lot of toys and sell my Coca-Cola.
The only thing I want in my stocking is Mad Stacks
and Coca-Cola.
And a 6-pack of Coca-Cola.
I don't know how they came up with that name.
Just throwing some real shade at Coke. And I think that's why this one's more interesting to me, because it's more linked to the concept of Christmas, and the villains in this story want to own the concept of Christmas, and I think that that's just ridiculous and stupid and fun.
The villains in this story are straight up Batman villains that got in a bit over their heads. All right, I'm gonna make our second drink of the night, so we're gonna take a pause.
Excellent.
We have a new drink, everybody.
We do have a new drink.
It's just a whiskey and Coke.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I just picked a drink that had Coke in it because they're talking about Coca-Cola in here. I couldn't find any Coca-Cola.
You looked.
I looked. It was blue.
Good bottle design, that Coca-Cola.
Do you think, now that I think about it, Coca-Cola is Pepsi and Coke? But Coke's the only one that does Santa Claus, so maybe not.
I think it's just Coke. Because they had the campaign about the polar bear. You know, he's loving a good Coke or whatever.
And Santa Claus is always on the can too.
Yeah. Oh, that being said, though, so this story, Crisis in Xmasville, this one came out December 2017, and it's about brand synergy and taking down Santa so we can make money off of Christmas ourselves.
They needed to take out the original Santa so they could trademark the brand of Santa under their company that was going out of business.
See, this one, I enjoy more because it plays with this time period thing of Santa can be on an adventure anywhere. And so this time it's back in the 80s. I enjoy this history between the Pola Cola Company and Santa because this isn't their first scuffle. And they've been fighting for like decades. And I do like how these stories tie in with each other. It's just little stuff, but it's just nice to see that these are still all connected. They all take place with the same Santa. It's mentioned that the factory that the Witch of Winter is at is his first factory that they left after it got attacked. And the Cola Company is the company that attacked it back in the 30s.
Yeah, so it's all connected in there.
Yeah.
Initially. How we got to the first story was like he showed up and a dad was like, they took my kids, and this one kind of starts similarly.
It does, yeah.
Those people are driving in the car, and then the dad gets taken to be Santa, and the kids get taken to be turned into something. I don't really remember what it was. It wasn't important enough. There was a creepy like alien thing that was sucking stuff out of them or something like that.
Yeah, this one...
That was unclear, but I knew that they were bad guys because they were doing it, so that's all I really needed to know.
So I like the story better. I wasn't thinking about it, but you are right that it is a similar setup for Santa to be there where this family's in trouble. I think I enjoy this story over that story because more interesting things are done with this family. And also there's not a ton, like there's no real character development. They are just plot devices, but that's all they do with them. And so I'm not having to try and force myself to care about this family like they tried to make me care about the last family.
Yeah, I'm assuming old Grant Morrison just learned from his mistakes and said, like, maybe we give him a little more this time. Maybe we fill in a bit more of the gaps this time.
I think why this one works better is because it plays more off of Santa stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I know, like in the first one, the girl had like the frozen heart or whatever, and that's very Christmassy, Higgins. Don't get me wrong. Don't even think about it.
Just they lost the spirit of Christmas, and then just like an elf, they sang loud for all to hear.
Yeah. But with this one, these, like you said, they have this weird Santa town of all brainwashed dads who they're being turned into mall Santas essentially. So that's again that little play on kind of like Santa culture we already have and know, but this is his twist on it. And then you have aliens that are taking their children and they suck the imagination out of them because they somehow lost their imagination. And it turns out you need imagination to live. It's the dumbest sentence I've ever said on this podcast, but that's the premise. But what kind of grounds it...
So they're sucking out imagination.
Exactly. And that's what grounds
and
this
I get that, man, because Santa as far as I've seen in any of my Santa movies, Santa runs on imagination and faith in Santa.
Yes, and it's the same here.
And they're sucking that out to use as a power source for their evil Santa alien thing. Their evil Santa and alien partnership.
Yeah, yeah.
So they can control the world. Or something.
It's very simple to keep track of, Higgins. I don't know why you had trouble.
I think the problem is that no one in the comic told me their evil plan while almost killing Santa Claus. They kind of told me over the course of the story, but I need it all in one go. Like when they maybe maniacally laugh, it wouldn't track on the page as well, but...
In your defense, Higgins, there's like 3 evil plans going on right now. Because you have the aliens, they want imagination. But then you also have this corporation who they want to make all the mall Santas, brainwash them, and then just one day have them kill a bunch of people so people cancel Santa, and then they can introduce their own Santa.
I forgot that's why they did that. They want to bring in a sexy Santa too, and we're like, we get it. We get it, guys. We already seen it. It's good.
Yeah, but this time, blue.
But this time blue.
Blue colors.
No beard.
No beard. Maybe a light trim.
A tank top.
Yeah. Oh, Santa all year long.
Santa all year round.
Yeah. So I enjoy the weird, greedy corporations. Just like we want to monetize everything, and Christmas is the biggest thing we could monetize, and we have our own Santa. But then you also have, I guess, technically the main antagonist.
What amounts to like Superman's Doomsday almost.
Yeah, or a Bizarro maybe.
Yeah.
You have Evil Santa.
Evil Santa from a parallel universe that's also a werewolf?
Yes.
Somehow. He's got a moon necklace.
I don't know what Christmas thing that's supposed to be.
I just think they were like, wolf. Santa's got a wolf. Maybe in this alternate universe, Santa is just a wolf, and that's why he's evil.
That was my take on it, yeah, because Santa has his best mate, Lily, who, by the way, best dog.
Best dog all around. We haven't even talked about her. She did so good in the first one.
I would kill anyone for Lily.
Lily has almost died in both of these comic books.
She just keeps coming back.
She's invulnerable as Super Santa is.
Did we know that Santa gets his powers from weird alien tech that's inside him? Because that's mentioned in this, and I don't remember that.
I don't know, but like it's probably one of those things where like, yeah, okay, Spider-Man's kind of strong. And he can like climb buildings and stuff like that, but also he doesn't shoot his own webs no matter how much Tobey Maguire wants him to. He just needs a little help from his friends. Just think how less cool Spider-Man would be if he wasn't shooting webs.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of Tobey Maguire, are you going to be with me and Dylan this Thursday night for the premiere of that movie he's definitely going to be in?
This Thursday night? Isn't today Thursday night? Next Thursday night.
Next Thursday night, I'm sorry.
Which it would be this Thursday night if
when
you're
this
listening.
Episode comes out. Yeah.
Probably.
So it's tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Okay.
You guys better be out there.
You better be there. Higgins is going to be there. He's going to be looking for you. But yeah, we'll go see that. And he'll definitely be in that movie, even though they said that he's not in that movie.
He's already in the poster. But yeah, so exactly like that, basically.
Yeah, they do that thing where it's like, I'm your polar opposite. Anything you are, I'm just the worst version of. And they took a stance and said that the world is flat. And the spaceship comes. I enjoyed the spaceship comes from underground, but for them, that's technically going up into the sky because they're just on the other side of the world that is flat. It makes no sense, right?
I don't know, man. If this was any closer to reality, I almost wouldn't be able to accept any of it. But because it's so off the wall, just crazy, like it's actually somewhat believable.
Well, they set the tone early on in the original story where
drugs and all that sort of stuff was happening, and he ate mushrooms and then sang to wood to make it into moving things. And I mean, Lily's kind of a crazy thing in and of herself too, so
that definitely helps a lot of kind of the story beats in these continuing adventures. I think with this story, even though I like this one better, I think it's the same thing as The Witch of Winter. Take some of this out. I honestly don't think you need the evil Santa. I love the design of the evil Santa. I love that he's just kind of this like metal lunatic.
I could have been okay with Metal Santa. I'm almost okay with not the imagination. Like, just have evil Santa be the reason that they want imagination.
Yeah, like don't have the aliens.
We don't need
side,
the alien.
Yeah.
We don't need the alien to suck it. Like, I'm sure that we can. I'm sure that evil Santa could find a way to get some imagination out of people.
It's going to take a lot of energy and effort for one person to suck off Santa's imagination. All right, you're going to need some help.
I know,
but I agree.
I'm glad you said Santa's imagination because he's definitely doing it to children.
I agree with you. You could take that element out. The only reason I would keep the alien stuff in and take the evil Santa out is because we've
Grandfather Frost and his daughter, who are also aliens. You're right.
Well, no, not that. That is a good point. They do have that, but yeah, we've already kind of done evil Santa. We did it with Krampus in the first story, and that was better because it led up to that, and it was this epic fight. This is still a good fight, and I like that Santa's losing because basically, like, the kids lost their imagination. That fuels a lot of his power, but also this evil Santa has like a weird werewolf dark moon thing. I don't mind that, but like I said, we've done that, and we've done a better version of that in the first story. So maybe just go with the aliens, take the imagination, because that's a new thing for this Santa that we hadn't seen before. And you could have given those aliens more character, because they don't say anything. I don't think it's mostly evil Santa.
Well, they have lines, but they're just alien language.
That's right, yeah. But honestly, easier to understand than anything evil Santa says, because
he says it in old timey rhymes and stuff like that.
Which kind of why are we doing that? We're in the 80s.
He's Santa.
He could have said something's like, I don't know, real groovy.
But he's an 80s thing? He's a werewolf too, so I don't know what that means, but.
I think it's just my biggest issue with both these is you take some things out, they're a lot better.
I think he's just thinking this is what I think he's doing is he's like, this only comes out once a year. I've
Mhm.
got to get all of the Santa fun stories in that I can
Out of me
out of me.
into this.
Who's to say they'll accept another Santa story next year?
Mm.
And if they don't, and what I need to tell Boom Studios is, if you guys make this a long running series with multiple authors, I'm gonna read a lot of it. I'm gonna
Okay.
read a lot of it. You can make these big ones at the end, but like, give me more Super Santa.
Yeah.
Yeah, read these though, guys,
Yeah,
because I mean,
still think it's worth a read. Yeah, I think going forward, and who knows, they might have done this already because they have done other stories that we haven't read yet. But yeah, have more fun with this time period thing that you want to do. Because the '80s one was fun because it's like, oh, you know, the '80s, like people love the '80s. This is what 2016. Stranger Things was so hot back then.
yeah. Plus, it lends itself to the crazy colors that happens in these things too. So
Yeah, but like, let's get Santa going to. Let's get a Western story with Santa. You know?
oh my gosh, what a Back to the Future 3 Santa?
Exactly. Like, let's have fun. We can go anywhere and any win with this character, so let's do that. Let's even have one where it's set like in the 30th century or whatever. You know, what's future Santa up to?
Oh man, Future Santa, like old man Santa.
Exactly. But he doesn't get old.
But
Unless he does eventually
well,
get
I
old.
mean, like Wolverine eventually got old, so
Mhm.
maybe Santa can eventually get old. Like he gets old, and then at the end he also reincarnates. So Santa still never dies, but the Santa that we know and love is gone.
But it'll always be in our hearts, won't
Well, that's actually a bit too Doctor Who-y. That's pretty much just Doctor Who.
he? Yeah, yeah.
Because that's why they have different actors for him. They explain that away just by saying like, oh, he's done now, but he reincarnated into a new actor.
Yeah. And we had to kill the old actor.
Yeah.
So he can't come back. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Or-
why David Tennant's all the things that David Tennant's been have just been recorded well before the end of his Doctor Who run.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's why he's wearing like some of the outfits he wears, just Doctor Who
Just-
wardrobe.
I mean, basically, it basically is in most of the stuff he's in.
I'm excited about that new seasons of Good Omens.
Oh man, I haven't even watched it. I read it though.
It's good
I
stuff.
read it though.
He's good in it. Give it a watch. And give this a read, I think. I definitely
Yeah.
would say read the first one if you haven't read the first one. And if you were only going to read one, at this point, I would say only read the first one. I think the first one is just a tighter story.
Definitely start with it if you haven't read it, and then listen to our first episode, and then maybe you can come back.
And do the thing that Higgins said where you start it over every time you hear us say Claus.
Oh, baby. So many listens.
Did you have anything else you kind of want to go over these two stories, though?
Just the very end. I like that Kate, the girl that was stuck in the imagination tube, was like, man, the only way that people are going to get this story is if I make it into a comic book myself. And it's also published by Boom
I
Studios.
did see that. That is fun.
And then, Santa Claus drops off his in case you need me gun so we can get another story from old Kate or Kate's granddaughter.
Yeah, and that again, it gives you these like fun little questions of, was there a similar thing that happened with, because the grandmother of that girl who eventually writes the book or whatever, she's the one who summons him with that same pistol or flare gun.
Yeah.
I guess there was a similar instance where something went wrong when she was a kid and he gave her that.
I'm sure it's like a very Peter Pan Wendy scenario where like she was on a mission with him or something like that, and he grew fondly attached to her and gave her this in case he needed her.
Yeah, in a non-creepy Santa sort of way.
And then because that lady was attached to these people, of course her granddaughter was also in trouble, and he's like, she'll probably get in trouble again. This family's a mess.
Just slip a gun at this public book signing. It'll be fine.
It's Christmas looking,
Yeah.
so it's fine.
It's like a toy gun. You know? Just this little pea shooter. Yeah, I enjoyed that. Like I said, I think that stuff, while about the same amount of time is taken for it, the family stuff in the second story works a lot better than the family stuff in the first one. Because the first one's just kind of like, oh man, I lost my mom and I hate everyone because of it. And then the resolve is just kind of, yeah, but what if you didn't hate everyone? She's like, oh yeah, I guess I couldn't. That's my problem with both these stories, I think, is there's a lot of issues that pop up in it that are immediately solved. The biggest one I kind of took issue with was at one point the wolf Lily gets stabbed and like turned evil, and then she's just fine in the next page.
No, they sang their song.
Yeah, but it's like
they
why?
sang their magic song.
They did, and I don't mind that as a resolution to that, but it's like, okay, like what was the point though? Because she didn't even fight him.
You're right. I mean, I understand.
Yeah.
But they sang their magic song. How the people just didn't know there was a magic song.
There was a magic song. I remember the magic song
From the first one. It
Yeah.
even had the same like magical coloring to the
did.
music notes.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I love the color. Yeah, a lot of imagery in this reminded me of the original one. Like whenever he gets in the sleigh, I'm just like, man, good times back then.
That sleigh's wild.
Sleigh slays, you know.
Oh yeah, that's all I got. That's all I got.
Yeah,
We
I've
said
got-
we said the art was good.
Yeah, I love the art. The writing I still enjoy. I think the characterization of Santa still works really well. As kind of
He looks
is this-
cool as hell. He is cool as hell.
Yeah, he's kind-hearted, but also a badass, and he's willing to kill anyone he needs to for the sake of children and Christmas. And I'm all for it, Higgins.
I agree.
Mhm.
Like we need to kill more people for the sake of Christmas.
We'll go out right after this and just mow down a few.
You just go on just a little bit of a spree.
Yeah.
You could call it a shopping spree.
You know it. Now I know I've been kind of down on this book as a whole, it might seem, but I did have some things that I really enjoyed.
You gave it
loved.
a 7.5, right?
I haven't gotten to
I'm
that
just
yet.
kidding.
I did write down some things that I loved personally, and I was just kind of throw it out there. And then if you had anything you wanted to add to, you do that in a natural, organic, cranberry kind of way.
All right.
Cool. All right. We've already kind of talked about it, but Lily's the best,
Lily is the best part of this.
hands down.
Still the best part of this.
Mhm. Best dog, only dog for me. Gary's getting on the table.
That's good.
He
Good
loved-
job, Gary.
Yep. While he's doing that, we talked about Geppetto.
Very good.
I want to see more of the weird moon civil war. What's going on there?
God, I want to see why he was in.
Chains on the moon.
And I also want to know why Grant Morrison decided out of all of the things to call aliens from the moon, why did he go Moonshins?
Moonshins. I think it's just
Martians, I get it, but like Moonshins.
they mentioned Martians too. Though at one point, he's like,
Yeah.
I fought some Martians over there once.
Well, you got to think like he could have just done Mooshins or something like that because they don't put Martians
On the
Martians.
Mars.
Yeah, they're not called Martians. That
No.
would be ridiculous.
Not yet though.
Yeah, not yet.
And the last thing I have written down was I enjoyed the I hate clowns joke.
Oh, whoa. Yeah. Where he's
It's part of the.
what is he talking about?
Well, so it's part of the plan to turn Santa or turn everyone against Santa. And the grandson's line is, "You can't make people hate Santa or be scared of Santa. That's like saying people are scared of clowns." And then his grandfather just goes, "I hate clowns."
Okay, I understand like that this joke only works in the 1980s because I think that, well, maybe not. I don't know when it came out, but that might have been right around the right time. But people were big on clowns for a while until clowns became scary as shit.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
it wouldn't work in a different time period, or it wouldn't work in now times because clowns went around and like chased people with
Yeah.
like knives like
3 or 4 years ago.
I know. People are not big on clowns right now. Apparently, it happened again too.
Yeah. Because it too was coming out like a couple of years ago.
You're like, man.
When are these clowns going to get a break? But yeah, I enjoyed that joke. Because I'm like, yeah, I guess we could eventually hate Santa Claus if people just did weird shit dressed up as Santa. There was some weird Santa murder imagery in that one page. Yeah, like one had a AK-47.
Big on it. They all had AK-47s. One had a turret on the back of a car. It was good stuff.
It was wild. I can't wait though. Let's read that story. Just a bunch of kids getting mowed down by their favorite person in the whole world. And then the weird Pepsi Santa shows up. No beard.
No beard. He saves the day.
Yeah, I like I said, I had a fun time. Maybe not as fun as the original story, but I think that if you really liked the first one like I did, it's still worth reading these two.
Oh yeah, it's just more.
Yeah.
Plus, he's opening him like we've said the entire time. He's opening himself up for a huge world of Santa mischief. So
much Santa, you're gonna be sick of it. But what you won't be sick of is Higgins giving you his official rating for these two stories.
man, so I am going to give you 7.5 little child's daydreams. Because imagination ruled this episode.
Well done. Well done. Oh wait, hold on. It's Christmas. I'll put some like sleigh bells like as applause
That's good.
in the yeah.
Jingle, jingle, jingle.
Exactly. As for me, I've said the things I've said. I feel the way I feel. All that in mind, I'm gonna give this.
You strike me as a 6.3.
Originally, you said I was a 7.
I know, but I thought I was like, I'm a 7.5 and I'm bigger on it than him. So he's probably a 6.3.
That's a good point. Yeah. Well, I need to start writing my. I got a new. Because I don't know if you noticed, I got a new little notepad
Oh, look at that.
for podcast notes. It says notes on it.
Oh, wow.
It's felt. You can feel it later. It's fine.
I got the same notepad I've always used.
It's up here.
Yeah, up here in the noggin.
He's pointing to his brain. Yeah. I need to start writing my ratings down. That way I have them ready. But on the fly, I'll probably give this book, not probably, I will give this book one dog treat from a girl Lily and a somewhat hearty ha ha ha. Because the evil Santa, for whatever reason, says ha 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 instead of oh oh oh.
Yeah.
Because he's backwards Santa.
Wow, oh. That would make sense.
Wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Because they're two sides of the same coin or whatever he
Yeah.
said.
Yeah. Well, they missed that.
They missed the trick there, yeah.
It's fine. It's already out.
Maybe we can when
Go back.
they bring us in on the bigger Santa Claus like collaborative universe.
I have so many big ideas about about Santa Claus.
Yeah? How much leather are you going to give him?
I kind of want to get him into like the. All right, now hear me out. Ghost Rider Santa.
Ooh.
We've reached the end of Santa's lifetime. He has become old man Santa, and you're like, wait, no, you have more life to live. You have more things you can do.
So
Ghost Rider Santa.
Make a deal with the devil.
Now you're a good guy, but you can kill people now, Santa, and you don't even have to feel bad about it. And you get to ride a cool motorcycle and throw fire chains at people.
That is the Christmas spirit.
That's the Christmas spirit.
Yeah.
He can still have a hat.
That's not exactly where I was going to go with my Santa story. I was thinking just, one shot special sexy Santa swimsuit edition issue.
Like him on like a Maui beach trip.
Yeah.
And
the Speedo's leather, of course.
The only way that he can stop the villain is that he wins the Hawaiian beauty pageant.
Ooh. Very good.
He beats out all the women.
Respectfully. Nice. Well, all in all, good things were said. Other stuff too. But Higgins, we got some extra time.
Yeah, banana. Readings for squares.
That's right, Higgins. It's that time of the show.
You kind of set me up for it, but I still kind of snuck it in as a little bit of a surprise. I kind of like doing that.
I was very surprised.
Yeah. I know you.
I'll have to sit down from how surprised I felt.
Luckily, we're already sitting.
Exactly. So yeah, this is that segment of the show where Higgins and we talk about things that we've been consuming in the content media spectrum, but it's not books. That's the one caveat. No words allowed.
Yeah, definitely not. Definitely not.
Higgins, you've been a busy bee.
Man. All right. So I'm not going to talk about them, but I have been reading books. That's all I'm going to say.
Not allowed here.
Can you throw in like one of those shocked, like audience likes?
Oh, like a gasp.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I'm not even going to say what they are.
God, this is going to be good.
But I've been reading, guys. I just wanted to let you guys know.
Well, I don't want to hear about it.
I'm bettering myself. But anyway, I've been playing Halo Infinite.
The new Halo.
Yeah. I downloaded the campaign, so I can't talk on that.
Mm-hmm.
But I have played the multiplayer, and it's very fun when you're in the game.
Okay.
That's what I will say about it. It's very fun. It brings back very many Halo memories, but there are things that I do not like about it. And then some people might like about it because maybe it's closer to Call of Duty-ish.
That's kind of how I haven't played a new Halo multiplayer since, I guess, 4. And that was kind of already going the Modern Warfare route, I feel.
It feels very fun while you're playing it. I was killing people. I was doing very bad, and I still felt pretty good about it.
Yeah, you were having fun.
When I got that kill, I was like, yeah, I got that guy. It's like I stuck a guy with a grenade, and it still felt as good as it ever had.
That is the best feeling in a Halo match, yeah.
And played some Capture the Flag. That's probably my least favorite one. Oddball, and there's this one where you capture Total Control. That one was pretty cool.
Oh, it's like zones or whatever?
It's zones, but you're like slowly pushing the other team back.
Ooh.
So it takes a little longer, but like
worth it.
Takes a little more strategy.
Yeah, that's fun.
And then the only thing that I don't like about it, and I think someone told me that you can actually do this, but it's very hard to figure out how to just say, I want to play 4v4 Slayer right now.
I've heard that the menu system's a little janky.
The UI is a little confusing, and it's just like, it just used to be so easy to be like, I want to play 4v4, and I want it to be I just want to shoot people. I just want to play SWAT.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Do they not have SWAT in this new one?
Basically, it's just a grab. I haven't seen SWAT, actually, but I just hit grab bag and just whatever happens, but
yeah,
I haven't seen SWAT. I don't know if that's the same people. Also, there's no loadouts.
Okay, yeah.
Which came about in like Reach anyways, so they probably just trying to go back. Well, even Halo 3 had loadouts. There's no, you start out with an assault rifle and a pistol no matter what, and you find the guns and stuff out in the wild.
Yeah.
There is a grapple gun.
That's the new thing, is the hook, the grappling hook.
You don't get it immediately. You do have to find it on the map also.
Really?
Yeah, like all of that, because that's a special booster thing.
Uh-huh.
And it might be in the campaign that you just have it anyways, but it's like one of those things you picked up like in the other one, like makes you invisible or gives you an extra shield.
Yeah.
This one's like grapple shot, or like a thing that like you press that like pushes the person, like force pushes them back basically.
Yeah, or you can like pull weapons and stuff to you, or like pull yourself towards a vehicle and get in it, that kind of stuff, right? Isn't that how it works?
That's the grapple hook. And then there's the other thing I was talking about was like a shield. There's like an overshield you can pick up, and then like another thing that's like it repels people from you. Like if someone's hot on your 6 and you turn around, you can shoot them back.
Yeah, okay.
And that gives you a little bit of a space, and then other stuff like that. But you pick that up in the environment, which I felt like finding weapons was easier in previous Halo games.
Yeah, it could be a map thing, you know? It's like you don't know.
And versus them sitting on the ground, they're like things against walls. They're like sitting up against the wall, like a Call of Duty Zombies thing, how they do guns.
Oh.
Where it's just like there's a spot on the wall where a gun's sitting.
Yeah.
And you grab it that way. And I don't like that as much either.
That does kind of take the fun out of exploring a map. At least for me. Like that was kind of, and after a while, I knew all the maps really well because they just kind of re-released the same maps that everybody likes. So it's like I know the lasers here, I know the battle rifles over here, but yeah, I mean it's okay.
I'm sure they'll bring back old maps, but right now, like I have not played one that I have known, so it's 100% new.
I can't wait for them to bring back that one purple map that both I and a friend of the show, Andy, hate so much.
Oh, where they shoot you up into space and part of it? Yeah, that one sucks.
It's in every Halo game for some reason. It's fine. Yes, it's still 343 is still developing these, I believe.
Yeah, they're the people in charge, and like I said, they've more or less nailed it. Like it's pretty fun when you get in the game. Once you're there, it's fine.
Well, that's what I've heard, and the campaign is out now, and I've heard pretty much good things all across the board about
it's
it.
Open world, like
sort of.
Well, it's more open world than any Halo has ever been.
Yeah. It's kind of from what I've heard.
The first mission is pretty normal Halo. I hear like you follow a very linear path on the first mission, and then it opens up, and then you can just go around, steal bases, kill some people, go over here, go over there, stop the Covenant, and then I'm sure story beats happen here and there.
I'm happy to hear that it's good because. Campaign especially I've heard good things about, which this would be the first time that people have liked a Halo campaign by 343 because they took over after Reach. They've had it since 4 and beyond, and now this one. And so
they've had it since Reach?
They've had it after Reach. So 4 was the first one that they had. Reach was the last one that Bungie made, and that was kind of like the last
good one.
Yeah, pretty much. Like I don't hate Halo 4 as much as most people do. I haven't even played Halo 5. By all accounts, it's just not good. So I'm glad to hear that they've kind of, and there's a lot of kind of anticipation with this one in particular because it was supposed to come out last year and then they delayed it like a week or two before it came out. And so usually when that happens, it's too late. But to hear that they took the time to fix whatever it is they fixed, and it seems to be paying off for the most part. There's still little things I've heard that I don't like that will just be fixed in time. The biggest thing is I don't want to play the campaign because I want to play. I've always played Halo campaigns with friends, and I know I've got
you
friends.
Can't do co-op right now.
Yeah, not the campaign. You can only do the multiplayer with friends.
Yeah.
So I think I'm fine with holding off on that and just playing it with someone who would want to play with me, even if they've already beaten it. But I have heard that another thing with this new kind of open world format in the campaign, you can't replay missions, like story missions, because that was like a big thing for Halo. Is
just jump in wherever you want to.
Just go back and play a fun campaign mission. You know, like it's like, you know, and they've all got names, and all the true diehard fans know every mission and they know what it's called. But like, you don't get that here necessarily unless you just start the entire game over. And I don't think that that's gonna really.
I'm sure they'll add on. People. I'm sure they'll add on to it. The only truly bad thing about it is, like, technically it's a free multiplayer, so it has free multiplayer game like
crap.
Yeah, stuff like there's a battle pass and stuff like that. And I did buy the battle pass because that's the only way that you'll
get new armor.
Within a reasonable time. And I looked at it and it's still not very good.
Yeah,
that was the other part. That's the one part that Halo always had where you can basically like at like colors part of it now too of your like your color scheme and stuff like that. So you can't change it to whatever you want.
Really?
Yeah.
Ugh.
So it's for sure like they're giving it away for free on like Game Pass, which is like where most people are playing this probably.
The multiplayer, right? Not the camp. I think the campaign you still pay for unless you have Game Pass.
Yeah, unless you have Game Pass. Yeah. It's free to play otherwise, but like the campaign's on Game Pass, and I think their way of supplementing the fact that they're not making money wholesale on this is that they're turning their multiplayer into, and it's a good system. People love that stuff, but I mean, they probably don't love paying for it, but they're not going to not pay for it, especially if it's a game they're interested in playing.
I think the main issue people have had with the multiplayer, even though, like you said, they like this format for the most part, like this season pass, like get items as you play kind of thing. I think the progression, unless it's been changed, was just slower than normal standards that these games kind of do. Like a Fortnite, you'll get more stuff, or a Rocket League, you'll get more stuff than you would like a Halo right now.
That's true. Like, you're not getting XP unless you're completing challenges.
Yeah.
And previous things, you'd get points for like, oh, you got kills, you did the thing, you got a certain amount of points, and that goes towards your like level. This is like you have to kill 5 people with an assault rifle and it gives you plus 200. And if that's all you did that round, then that's the plus 200 that you get towards your experience points.
And that's not encouraging people to play the game
however they want.
It's encouraging people to just
play it the way that
yeah.
So they can keep progressing. I'm sure that's something that'll change. There's been plenty of complaints about that on like other like podcasts I've listened to and stuff like that. And they're just figuring it out, man. This is the first time Halo's done this.
Well, that's the thing. I think that's the biggest thing is everything you said, those complaints are all valid from my account, but a lot of times people don't care about that kind of stuff. I think the main reason it's been standing out in articles and stuff for Halo is because Halo's never done this before. Halo, up until this point, was you pay for the game, you get what you get, also multiplayer's here. Like it started, or at least helped start, online multiplayer for kind of what it's become, but now it's had to adapt to these new standards.
Yeah, this is the first one in forever that's gotten a wide like audience, and they're like, man, we have to pull in, like, people seem to like this, so we might as well do it.
I don't even know if it's that, like, I know people like it, or at the very least don't mind it for the most part, this format. I've always hated this kind of like, it's not pay to play, but it also kind of is. If you want to pay for cosmetic stuff, like whatever, but I don't like it when the games get bogged down and trying to cater to that. But I've also kind of come to this realization that that's just what, at least for multiplayer, that's what games are now. Like, this is just how it's gone. I think it is weird for it to be in a Halo game, because I've played Halo, not when it first came out, but pretty much jumped on shortly after. And so to see it turn into this is a little strange.
It's weird.
But I'll get used to it, I think. And as long as the game and the core gameplay itself is fun.
Oh yeah, it still feels like Halo. You're shooting the assault rifle, you're still sucking bullets in. Like, I shot this guy in the head like 5 or 6 times with a pistol, and I was like, surely he should be dead. And he was on the final shot, but like it took all 6 shots, and you're like, that's the old Halo.
Yeah.
That I know and love.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. I blew up a vehicle with a sniper rifle. There's some new guns that are pretty fun, but yeah, It's pretty fun. If you have Game Pass, for sure play it.
I have downloaded it. I haven't played it yet because I can't find my Xbox controller. Oh wait, no, I can't find it because I don't have it anymore because I gave it to someone else who needed it.
Oh, okay.
And I don't have an Xbox controller. And everyone's like, why don't you just play on PC controls? And I'm sorry, that just doesn't feel right. That doesn't sit right with me.
Yeah, you know that you're playing against people that don't have that advantage.
Well, not even that. It's just like I've always played Halo on an Xbox controller. It's
just how I am.
It's like asking me to go into work without my shoes on. I can't. But yeah.
So you want to tell? Did we pick something for next month?
We have not picked something for next month. The show that we did.
Okay.
Yeah. We've been too busy doing this show right now.
Did I mentioned Flintstones. Do you want to read the Flintstones?
The Flintstones
by Mark Russell.
Yeah, I would read the Flintstones.
All right, because I own it already, and I need a reason, to read it, and this will be a great reason to read it.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's DC, the Flintstones.
How many? We just reading the first volume.
Just the first volume.
Okay, nice.
That's probably 5 or 6.
Yeah, I think there's only 12 issues total of that story. So yeah, that'll be fun. We can do that.
All right.
Nice.
We haven't done anything DC in a while, and we're still not doing superheroes.
I was about to say this is DC. I know it's DC, but
because DC owns Hanna-Barbera somehow.
Yeah, which is fine because every now and again we get those weird Looney Tunes crossovers with Batman or whatever.
Yeah, and apparently this one's pretty good.
I've heard Flintstones is amazing.
Yeah,
which we've read something by Mark Russell before, haven't we? Didn't he do Marvels?
Oh man,
we should know this.
No, that was it started with a K or something like that. I don't know. Let me look it up.
K. Mark Russell?
No, that's not it.
His full his Christian name?
No, that's Kurt Busiek. I don't know who Mark Russell is, but he made Flintstones. I've heard the name before, but I can't peg him. We'll talk about it more next month. Probably.
We will. Yeah, we will for sure.
And yeah, it'll probably be a fun one. Do you want to wrap up, or do you want me to wrap up?
Let's have you wrap up. It's Christmas time, so wrap up that present. Get it under the tree so we can see these good people in the new year.
Alrighty, so today we talked about Claus, the New Adventures of Santa Claus.
Oh, we're doing a recap now. I like this.
And it was good. That's just the first thing. I was just giving my brain long enough to remember what I actually have to say.
Yeah.
You can find me on Twitter and at Mike Higgins 93 and Instagram at jsturm93. And you can find Snoop at Snoop_Lynch at both of those things. He won't find you there maybe once a month at the most.
I'm out getting groceries.
Yeah.
It's important.
And you can find him and me at yourcomrades@gmail.com.
That's right.
Ask us anything. Ask us about our day. Ask us about your day. We'll try to guess what it was that you did.
Yeah, did you see a sexy Santa Claus or a Santa with an AK-47? We want to know about it.
We'll answer any question that you give us.
What is Higgins' astro sign?
Leo.
Yeah, see?
I mean, I am a Leo. I mean, I've read all the things. I know. This guy.
They nailed you in one, didn't they?
Yeah. Tell me your Enneagram score. But yeah, what else do I say at the end of this?
Well, Higgins, you gotta say something new now every now and again, and that's that, which we said it up top.
Oh yeah, you're right. We are sponsored by 008 Studios. Thanks to our buddy Michael for sponsoring us again.
Happy to be the proud podcast.
New book comes out January 31st on the Kindle version, and February ish for the actual release of the book.
More details to come on that, but as of right now, yes, end of February is when we're expecting I say I didn't do anything. When Michael's expecting a physical copy to be released.
Yeah, and then find him at 0-0-08studios.com.
That's right.
That's where you can find him for all of your needs.
And you want to find him easy? That's fine. You go in the podcast description notes. It's going to be a spot for it right there.
Well, you can click it.
Yeah, you can click that.
Snoop makes it where you can click it.
I make it so easy, Higgins. Unless you're on Spotify, then you're fucked. I can't do anything about that.
Some of them work on Spotify.
Yeah. Hopefully
about
that one
half.
It's true. I don't understand it. It doesn't make any sense to me. Why does it work everywhere else except Spotify? What's their deal? What makes them so special? But anyway, that's fine. Hopefully that link at least works, so you can go find Michael's website, check out what he's doing, and maybe ask him, hey, what could we do together, collab and such. That's what he's about.
Oh yeah, and also guys, leave us a review on iTunes, because I think that's the best place to do it.
I think that's the most wonderful, fantastic place you could ever leave a review for
You
anything.
You can't do it on Spotify. You might be able to do it on other podcatchers, but I think iTunes is what makes people want to listen to us.
You know it, Higgins. In fact, Higgins, can you do me a favor right now?
Read the review that we got?
We're going to read the review that we got.
Man, I'm glad that you saw it too, because every now and again, I just like hop on our podcast feed, and by every now and again, when we put out a new one, I listen to it like an hour after it comes out.
Yeah. When you want to give it some room to breathe.
Yeah, I don't want to go too hard.
Yeah.
As you do. Snoop and Higgins are pretty cool. Oh, this is by Kingler114. Snoop and Higgins are pretty cool guys. They're like a modern day version of Abbott Costello. Higgins clearly the Costello. I don't know what that means, but I like it.
I think that might be a compliment.
All right, cool. They talk about comics you are not brave enough to read, and drink the alcohols that your stepmother warned you about. Whether you were a corrupt politician or just a happy-go-lucky teenager trying to save the local rec center, I would recommend this podcast to anyone. Signed, Sean.
Yeah, he did.
Thanks, Sean.
He gave it away, yeah. I like it normally when they don't put their real name, so I can maybe guess, but I appreciate it just as much, if I'm honest. So, yeah, thank you, Sean, for that kind-hearted review. And it's a review that anyone could have done by going to Apple Podcast and doing that.
And doing that.
Yeah, chuck in a star. Chuck in 5 if you want. It's fine.
It's like we're running. I hate to say it, guys, but we're running out of friends that haven't reviewed our podcast yet, and like you have to think sooner or later someone's going to be the last one. And do you guys really want to be the last one?
It's true. If you could all just like coordinate and like leave a review on the same day, and we can just do a review, or we can just do an episode where we read out those reviews.
That would be great.
It would be nice, wouldn't it?
That would be great. If we had too many, then we'd figure something out.
We'd split it up.
Yeah, we might even sing a song.
We will not do that. I don't even want them to think that that's a possibility. But yeah, I think that wraps everything up. Again, Sean, thank you. And thank you to anyone who's supported us in any way, even if it's just like you're listening to the episode right now and you're like, this guy's not bad. You don't tell us that, but you think it, and that's the amount of support that I love. So thank you. And we hope that you join us again another month from now for the book that we're reading. Higgins, it's called, what are we doing?
Flintstones by Mark Russell.
That's right. We're doing that
the first
volume. So read that. Don't read it. Whatever. Just listen to us talk about it if you like. Because we'll do that in a month from now. And until then, I will say Merry Christmas. But more importantly, cheers, guys. And Higgins is more than happy to tell you.
But wait, there's Myrrh. I'm pretty scared of clowns, guys.
It's good.
I said myrrh. It was the Christmas thing.
Yeah, I feel like you looked that part up, but
I
then
did.
You spun it into your own thing.
Yeah, no, I needed a little segue.
Yeah, you paraphrased. little sleigh way.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good.
A little Christmas cheer. Bye, guys.
Oh, I should have said Christmas cheers. Fuck.
Next year.